Excellent. This is one evening we start promptly. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Perfect. All right. Good evening, everyone. The meeting is now called to order. Will the secretary please call the roll?
Mrs. Becker. Here. Mr. Kanker. Here. Mrs. Chu. Here. Mr. Hom. Here. Mrs. Lax. Mrs. Reese. Mr. Seiler. Mrs. Shaw. Here. And President Simmons.
Here, we do have a quorum. Please rise and to salute the flag in the rear. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. The New Jersey Open Public Meetings Law was enacted to ensure the right of the public to have advance notice of and to attend the meetings of public bodies at which any business affecting their interests is discussed and acted upon. In accordance with the provisions of this Act, the East Brunswick Board of Education has caused notice of this meeting by having the date, time, and place thereof posted at the board offices located at 760 Route 18, East Brunswick, New Jersey. Written notice was also provided to the Sentinel, the Newark Star-Ledger, the Home News and Tribune, and the Municipal Clerk of East Brunswick. All Board of Education meetings, with the exception of executive session discussions, are videotaped for later broadcast. It is the policy of the Board of Education that videotape meetings are not edited for any purpose. Individuals who speak at the board's public meetings should be aware of these videotaping rules. And good evening, everyone. We are going to go a little out of order because we have the superintendent's report first, but we're going to wait for that. And we're going to start this evening. If you're wondering, watching on TV, why I'm standing up here tonight, we have our annual Wall of Honor inductions. And we have, exactly. We have probably the most crowded house I've seen in a long time, which is a good thing. So I'm going to ask Dr. Valesky if you would kick it off for us.
Absolutely.
And then we'll start.
Thank you.
Joan Hickman.
Good evening, everyone, and thank you for being here to celebrate our 2017 Wall of Honor inductions. Tonight, we have the distinct pleasure of honoring 3 outstanding individuals who have impacted our school district in extraordinary ways. We will share the details of their district contributions with you later in the program. The Wall of Honor you see here was constructed for the purpose of honoring individuals who have made a significant and extraordinary contribution to East Brunswick Public Schools. A recognition committee composed of members of the Board of Education, East Brunswick Education Association, and the East Brunswick Principals and Supervisors Association was established to develop the guidelines and criteria for the selection of the honorees. Eligibility for this honor begins 1 1/2 years following the June 30th of the retirement year and ends 3 1/2 years later. A Register of Honor is located to the right of the Wall of Honor, which details the service history of the individuals chosen for this honor. It allows us to share the wonderful contributions of the individuals. At this time, I'd like to reintroduce our board president, Mr. Todd Simmons, Board of Education, to make a few remarks.
All right. Well, thank you, Dr. Valesky, and good evening, everyone. Every April, we have the privilege of recognizing our finest. It is no secret that the selection of this ensemble is not an easy task. All of the district's people, past and present, are the best of the best. So when we unveil the names of individuals to our Wall of Honor, we are bringing to light those who have had the most positive impact in our school community, our superstars. Tonight we honor an icon in our athletic program, a revered science teacher, and the consummate example-setting administrative professional. Each of you has left your legacy here in delivering to our district community your talents and compassion and setting an example for those who have followed you. Katherine Adrian, not only have you served as a most valued teacher to our middle school students, you have helped to shape our 7th grade science curriculum. With your collaborative approach towards teaching and learning, you have set an example for your colleagues, making sure that our science program is always bolstered by your legacy. Frank Nottenberger, as our athletic supervisor and athletic director since 1988, it is tough not to turn to you when we brag of excellence in athletics. And when you made the decision to retire, you would only do so when you knew that our programs were under the right supervision. Whether it was assessing our curriculum or directing our extracurricular programs, You made certain that our athletic program, and most of all its participants, were nationally, state, and locally recognized year after year. And Joan Hickman. During the few visits I had to the high school nurse's office, you had the most positive and cheerful greeting of anyone I've encountered in the district. Our students knew they would get the compassion and caring they needed when they were fortunate to see you first. And on a personal note, and I'm certainly not gushing about time spent on our mutual negotiations committees, but I am sure the EBEA at large knows that it was well represented by your professionalism and breadth of knowledge of the issues. It was an honor and a pleasure to work alongside you during our negotiations.
Thank you.
The difficult part of our Wall of Honor ceremony is that it means you've each retired. Our district is the award-winning place to learn and to work because of each of you. East Brunswick is grateful to you for your dedication and commitment to our school community. On behalf of my colleagues on the Board of Education, congratulations to our new and now legendary inductees, and thank you for everything you have done to make our district, our community, what they are today. Thank you. Dr. Valesky.
It's now my pleasure to introduce Dr. Dana Zimbicki, President of the East Brunswick Education Association.
Good evening, everyone. It's wonderful to see so many of you here celebrating this amazing event. Tonight's ceremony marks the highest distinction in our district and in our profession of public education. This ceremony is so important because tonight we recognize the best of the best. When I think of this night, it makes me reflect back on my childhood and those in public education that had profound impacts upon me, upon our schools, and upon our community. For me, it was my middle school social studies teacher, Mr. Graff, and my organic chem high school teacher, Mr. Tillack, that I think about and I think should be on a wall of honor if it so existed. And that's why it's so fortunate here in East Brunswick that we have this honor to bestow on everyone. So as we honor these three amazing inductees tonight, silently think about your unsung heroes of public education and honor them yourself. So first, Kathy. Kathy, thank you for impacting thousands of students over the course of the years. You've been a beacon of light for the students, and you never missed an opportunity to help staff. Even in retirement, the district would be lost without you. You provided amazing support and leadership, and most importantly, time during retirement to help teachers during leaves and also to help mentor teachers in developing their burning love of education, just like you had. Second, Joan, every time the students would enter the nurse's suite, you were the first face that they would see. You ensured that every single student felt comfortable, valued, and cared for. You made a difference in thousands of students' lives, and the parents in our community always appreciated your nurturing. You were the go-to person at the high school. Staff members knew that they could count on you to lend an ear, but they also knew that you would always be honest with them, and I think that's a very important character trait. As Director of Support Staff for the EBA, you made a difference as you advocated for each and every member, especially those that may be timid, and I thank you for that. And lastly, Frank, you've taught and influenced thousands of students in East Brunswick. Your influence has impacted so many in our district, in our county, and in our state. Your mentorship to athletic directors, your guidance to young athletes, and your warm embrace to all the coaches and the physical education teachers in the district is beyond words. You are known far and wide as a gentleman, a voice of reason, and an advocate for athletics in public education. You too have truly made a difference. In closing, it's important to take time to recognize those in public education who have left indelible marks in our lives. Tonight, hopefully you all silently honored your unsung heroes of education. And as we are ready to induct our three amazing inductees this year in our class of 2017, as the Irish would say, may the saddest day of your future be no worse than the happiest day of your past. Congratulations on this honor, and thank you for your selfless service to public education. You truly are the best of the best. And I have one message to you from somebody that texted me right before we got here, and that's Holly Howard. She could not be here tonight, but she wanted to wish all of you the greatest congratulations and thanks for everything that you have done for our district.
Now I'd like to introduce Mr. Andy Scanlon, President of the East Brunswick Principals and Supervisors Association.
Thank you, Dr. Valesky, and it really is a privilege for me to be here. It's quite an honor. I went in a little different direction with my words here. I heard a song on the way over here tonight, and I think it really captured the essence of what tonight is all about. It went something along these lines. Everybody have fun tonight. Everybody Wang Chung tonight. And I really do think that these lyrics have a meaning what tonight is all about. It's about having fun and honoring some great contributors to the East Brunswick community. Tonight we honor a jock, a doc, and someone that taught about rocks. But I've worked with Frank, Joni, and Kathy for many years, and I can't think of three more well-deserving people to receive this honor. They're great contributors, they're great educators, and more importantly, they have great character. It's because of all the contributions that these educators have made to the East Brunswick learning community that they now own a spot on our wall of honor. And I couldn't think of three more deserving people. So on behalf of the principals, assistant principals, supervisors, and department chairs, I'd like to thank you for everything you've done and to congratulate you on such a great honor. Thank you.
So why am I not surprised Andy went in a different direction? So we begin. Katherine Adrian. Our first Wall of Honor inductee this evening is Katherine Adrian, who came to East Brunswick Public Schools in 1975 as a 7th grade science teacher. Kathy's passion for teaching and learning science came early in her life, and to this day that passion continues. After her graduation from Kean University with a degree in biology and secondary education, she became part of the team of talented educators in East Brunswick, where she spent her entire teaching career until her retirement in 2013. To say Kathy is a model teacher is an understatement. To say she exemplified excellence is much more accurate. Kathy's passion for science drove her every objective, every activity, and every outcome she expected from her students. Her innovative, rigorous classroom activities turned each student into a scientist. In the early days of her career, she created her own lab equipment to prove a concept. She extended beyond her teaching. Her fondest memories about the school community she loves so much includes her far-reaching advocacy for students. As advisor to the Metropolitan Club, she aimed to expand the experiences of students in extracurricular activities to enlighten them in areas in which they did not experience at home. Together with her faithful co-advisor, Pearl Hillman, students were exposed to Broadway plays and athletic events such as baseball, hockey, and basketball games. Under her guidance, the science team reached new levels of competition. Kathy's excellence carried into her day-to-day interactions with colleagues, administrators, and parents. Most notable, however, was her mentorship of others. In Kathy's words, quote, "I was taught by some of the best early in my career and enjoyed helping new staff members as I gained experience in the field." She continues to hear from former students who attribute their own passion for science to Kathy. Most rewarding for her continues to be watching her former students enter the profession as district science teachers. Kathy enjoyed working alongside them with pride as colleagues, which she continues in her new role as a substitute teacher in our district. Sharing this honor with Kathy tonight is her growing family, her husband Ken, a retired teacher of industrial arts who she met at Churchill Junior High School, daughter Kelly, a math specialist at Hammersholt Middle School, who was joined by her husband Al, and children Vinny, Morgan, and Frankie. Kathy's daughter Kim, who is an RN, is accompanied by her husband, Rob, who are also expecting their first child in July. And daughter Lori is a doctor, joined by her husband, Mike. So I guess the passion for science is evident. Kathy and Ken are enjoying their retirement, spending time at their homes in the Poconos and Lake Winnipesaukee, New Hampshire. 2 summer homes. And spending time enjoying their children and grandchildren. I wouldn't be surprised if there are future scientists in that group too. Congratulations, Katherine. Yeah. Joan Hickman. That was a pretty good giggle, too. In 1988, the district hired a new secretary to work at East Brunswick High School. Little did we know we'd hired someone whose compassion, kind heart, and strong work ethic would have an everlasting effect on students, staff, administrators, and an entire school community for years to come. Joan Hickman's love and caring for children is the core of her soul. As the secretary of the health office, she not only took care of her nurses, but the numerous people she encountered on a daily basis who relied on her for information, help, advice, and guidance. Joan felt she was the lucky one because, in her words, quote, "I'm thankful for having had a very rewarding and fruitful career in East Brunswick. My experience working with the district's many wonderful nurses from 1988 to 2015 was outstanding." Little did she realize there would never be a dull moment. She found it exciting to work with our wonderful East Brunswick students. In addition to her secretarial work, Joan was a natural mentor and leader, especially in her dedicated work as Director of Support Staff for the EBEA, an elected position. Her work gained her recognition as the New Jersey Education Association Education Services Professional for 2015. Joan was awarded the EBHS Support Staff Award after nearly a dozen nominations. But you got it. Joan's most heartfelt memory surrounds a special needs student who would visit the nurse's office on occasion. When Joan learned of this young student's love for dogs, she developed a common bond with him. During one of his visits, it happened to be his birthday, so Joan's brother's German Shepherd, barked the entire tune of Happy Birthday to him via cell phone. The excitement and big smile that he showed was unforgettable. The entire school community knew they could count on Joan. She was very visible to staff, administration, parents, and students. For example, she mentored one young lady who was having a hard time coping with school and family issues. She built an incredible bond with the student and provided a sense of security for her. Joan built relationships daily with students. They knew they would be welcomed with a smile and tenderness before she sent them back to class. Excuse me one second.
Go ahead. It took me years to get this. I have time.
Joan believed all students would be treated with respect and dignity just the way she would want her own sons to be treated. Consequently, there was a culture of trust which allowed Joan to have a profound impact on so many students, parents, and staff. Joan shares this honor with gratitude to so many people: Kathy Schwartz, Ruth Davitt, Dana Zimbicki, Joyce Lentz, Michael Wildermuth, East Brunswick School District administrators, nurses, counselors, teachers, and staff, her loving and devoted parents, especially her father, who is 93 years young, brother FX, sister Pat, 3 sons, Dan, Sean, and Tom. In her words, the lights of my life. And beautiful granddaughters Paige and Stephanie. Congratulations, Joan.
Thank you.
Frank Knoppenberger. In 1977, I think that was the year I was born, a South River High School alum's blood turned green, and forever it will remain green. Our last inductee this evening is Frank Knoppenberger. Frank graduated from Westchester University, earning a Bachelor of Science in Health and Physical Education in 1976, and began his tenure at East Brunswick as a health and physical education teacher. His coaching career began with positions as assistant coach in football and basketball. Frank gave up football when he became the head basketball coach during the time the Bears won 2 division titles, a state sectional title in 1986, and a GMC championship in 1987. Thus began Frank's numerous coaching awards as GMC Coach of the Year. Although Frank's commitment to being a Bear was already made, it deepened when he was appointed as District Athletic Supervisor in 1988. During that time, Frank was instrumental in adding 6 varsity sports. Later, as Supervisor of Physical Education, he brought honor to the district after it was named New Jersey's Outstanding Program in 2000. Frank's involvement in the Greater Middlesex Conference includes serving on the Executive Committee since 1989 and a 4-year reign as president. He also served as chairperson of 9 different sports and is dedicated to his position of chairperson for sportsmanship and baseball. For his efforts, Frank earned Athletic of the Year honors in 1992 and 2005. In 2006, because of his involvement with the NJSIAA, Frank earned the Director of the Athletic Association of New Jersey Sectional Award of Merit. Frank started a leadership course for all East Brunswick sports team captains to bring leadership and team unity to our athletic program. He spent countless hours with student leaders, always seeking ways for our athletes to improve on and off the field. To Frank, it was all in a day's work, and that day sometimes went well into the night. But it never seemed like work. Teaching, coaching, being involved in athletics was his dream, something he always knew he wanted to do and thoroughly enjoyed. To be placed on the Wall of Honor among the cornerstone of the East Brunswick school system is a tremendous honor, of which Frank is extremely proud. He would like to share this honor with his lifetime friends that he's made over 37 and a half years of being a Bear. And his greatest pride sits alongside him, Nancy, his wife, of 28 years, and their 3 daughters who were student athletes for the Bears, Lisa, Caroline, and Christine. And now he is looking forward to watching his granddaughter, Mary Kate Walden, become the next family Bear. And a short, quick story about Frank. When I became superintendent, I actually asked Frank not to retire. And he stayed an extra year for me, so I appreciate that. Congratulations, Frank.
Unaccustomed as I am. Someone said something about unsung heroes. I don't see mine here, but in 1977, John Emery hired me, and John, I thank you for the rest of my life and everything you've done for me. So thank you, John. Whenever someone gets these type of awards, they're prestigious, they're honors, they always kind of say the same thing. Some of it's heartfelt, some of it's just rhetoric. However, I'd be remiss if I didn't say what some of them have said, and that's they surrounded themselves with great people, and it made the job easier. They gave them love, they gave them encouragement and support. So with that being said, I'd like to thank certain groups, certainly, by the way, it's wailing. It's wailing. My granddaughter's wailing. It's all right. I understand. And he'll be transferred, certainly. But certainly my family, and of course, in the back there, all the coaches and teachers. Thank you very much, everyone. And remember, always, go Bears.
All right, well, can't really follow that very easily. We're going to have a short recess. Thanks, everybody.